My name is Ms. Ree. I am Lead Kids Manager, and I'm also the culinary instructor at Rising Stars. I'm just serving our wonderful invitees to our luncheon today from the districts. So welcome to everybody. I hope you enjoy, and God bless.
My fantasy world would be, you know what? I think I want to go back to Oz. I don't know. I don't know. I love Wizard of Oz.
Thank you.
So I just want to, go there and, all those wonderful places. That could be, maybe I could fly around or something. I don't know. I want to see the Wizard of Oz.
Sonia Hernandez, principal for Youth Build Charter School. I've been with Youth Build since 2009, however many years that is, in various roles, and I'm very happy to be in my current role. And my fantasy world, I don't know why this movie popped in my head, but Ferngully, I'm thinking like very sort of tropical. I don't know why that's what popped in my head right now. I don't think I've seen that in ages, but I think it would just be cool to be in that sort of setting and environment.
Hi everyone, Celine Massuget, Assistant Principal with Youth Build Charter School of California. Similarly to Sonia, this is my 16th year in Youth Build, been in a variety of roles as well. And I think my fantasy world, I don't know why the first thing that popped into my head was like The Little Mermaid and like Under the Sea and like, right? Like they're singing like, I don't know. I would be under the sea and I would make it work with the sharks and everything staring down there, so.
So I'm Isabel Fernandez. I'm with Valverde Adult School, the school counselor there, and I'm with you, I would say, Hogwarts as well. I'm a Harry Potter fan, so. Next.
My name is Robert Morales. I'm from Rancho Verde High School. I'm a school counselor there. My fantasy world would be a lottery winner. I would give each of you guys that I know here $1 million, I guess. After taxes though. After taxes. So if I pay taxes, you guys pay taxes.
Hi, my name is Jackie Williamson. I'm also a school counselor at Rancho Verde High School. I hadn't thought about a fantasy world, but I like the under the sea thing. I think I like I would like to go where Ariel was swimming around. So, thank you.
Okay, well, good afternoon. My name is Robin Ellison. I also am from Rancho Verde, where I'm a school counselor. And I, like Miss Williamson, had not thought about a fantasy world until 2 minutes ago. And the first thing that popped into my head was Snow White, so I could have the dwarfs doing all of my work.
That's a good one.
My name is Veronica Rivera. I'm at Orange Vista. School counselor, and my fantasy world would be Finding Nemo. Like, I love the ocean, so I don't know. Thank you. Yeah.
My name is Erica McMahon. I work at Orange Vista. 25 years in education at Valverde. My fantasy world, I don't know if it's a fantasy world, but I have to do something with Prince. I think everybody in here knows I love Prince, so anything purple with Prince, that would be like a nice ideal. That's it.
I'm Portia Clark. I'm at Orange Vista, school counselor, fantasy world, Hogwarts. I'm a Slytherin, and that's it.
Hansel Ramos, school counselor at Rancho Verde High School. My fantasy world, the only thing that comes to mind is Avatar. Any of those Avatar worlds are amazing. I've only seen the two. How many are there now?
The blue Avatar by James Cameron.
I really like the second one on the ocean. That was amazing.
All right, Carly Searle, school counselor, Rancho Verde. And in the 2 minutes I've thought of this, I think the first thing was Star Wars. I always like Star Wars. That'd be a cool world.
Our vision is to create a future where our members build positive generational legacies, not only for themselves, but also for their families and communities. We often get the young people that walk into our doors that sort of seem to have lost that hope, don't know what to do next with their life. 16 to 24, I've dropped out of high school. I may not know where to lay my head at night. I may not know where to find my next meal. So we really envision on building those generational legacies and breaking those generational curses. And we're big on that, and I'm really big on that. And that's what we do here as part of our mission and vision. Who do we serve? Our participants. So the population we have are transitional age youth. They're 16 to 24 years of age, out of school youth. So all the young people that walk into our doors are out of school. They don't come straight out of middle school, or they don't start here freshman year. We're actually not allowed to take those young people because as a youth build program, we're designed to support those who have been out of school already for whatever case reason why they're out of school, right? They must be deficient in credits. They must be expelled or aged out. They don't have to meet all the requirements, but these are some examples of what our participants will look like. Expelled or aged out, system-involved youth, or youth who need a small setting. Ms. Tatiana, would you like to add a little bit on our participants?
I think you you did everything.
Yeah, I like to share with parents as well. Like, and we get those young people. It's a very wide range of young people we serve. So we have to have a one-on-one approach with every single young people that walk into our doors. A one-size model doesn't fit for our young people that walk into these doors. Like I said, we may have someone dealing with being unhoused, while someone is dealing with some substance use, while someone is just dealing with, hey, you know what, Mr. Miss, I dropped out when I was 18, junior year. I just wanted to smoke weed and get a job. Now I just come back, I want to get a diploma, right? It could be something as simple as that. They have no really deficiencies other than I forgot and high school wasn't my priority, right? So we have a very wide range of young people. So we have to have a one-on-one approach with all of our young people that we serve. So what do we do? I want to share with you two distinct programs that we have here at Rising Stars Business Academy. One is Moreno Valley Youth Build, which is sort of the education model with the other four elements that support that. And the other one is our Opportunity Over Violence Initiative. We renamed it recently. It's our violence intervention program that we offer. We do have young people that are dual enrolled. We have young people that are just in one or just in the other. Okay. So our first Moreno Valley Youth Build program, we have our core elements. So we do offer education through a partnership. And again, you'll learn more about the charter school in a moment. So your charter school partner provides a high school diploma, the accreditation, all that great stuff, while the program offers all the other four elements with the enrichment services. So leadership development, supportive services, career pathways, alumni success, right? We can go on and on and on what every element does and what every element provides, but I want to give you a quick snapshot of what sort of that looks like with some of these activities we want to highlight. So for example, they may do some financial literacy. They may have some one-on-one mentoring with credible messengers or mentors that come in, adult mentors that get screened, they get background checked, they go through the interview process, they make sure they're a good fit to be a responsible adult to mentor our young people. Service-based learning opportunities. So they may do community service hours. They're required to do 10 hours a trimester they're here with us. So the charter school partnership that we have is a trimester model, not a semester or a quarter. So we do 3 trimesters, so every trimester they're here is 10 hours a trimester. Civic engagement and advocacy, case management, wellness services, and youth policy council. And a youth policy council is designed for our young people who want to elevate their leadership and step further into their potential, right? They say, I'm ready to rock and roll, I'm ready to do something different. A lot of times, our young people in the YPC are involved in advocacy, public civic engagement, and Miss Celine can maybe share a little bit later about that, because Miss Celine, she actually oversees and supports all youth policy council development at multiple sites across Southern California with our charter school partner. Ms. Tatiana?
All right, so we have career pathways. So one of our career pathways that we have here is actually construction. A lot of our participants who actually just finished doing our mental toughness actually came so they can do the construction program. So what does that look like? It's basically us teaching them kind of how workforce is already. So it is paid on the job training. We offer up to $150 per week that they are able to get here while they're trying to still get their high school diploma as well as be able to finish out the construction program. We do give them an industry recognized certification, which is our NCCER, and we also do OSHA 10, so they are OSHA 10 certified afterwards. And then we do have our job development, our job developer, and all of our other staff as well that helps with placement support. And we don't just, after they're done with our program, just leave them. We do follow with them for the whole year of 12 months of seeing, and we provide them with incentives like, hey, you graduated from high school, here's an incentive. Hey, you finished your NCCR, here is an incentive on top of the $150 that we give them per week. And we also think this is definitely a great program for our participants or for any students that are coming in, but it also have to meet to the criteria of being considered youth build, which is they still have to be the age of 16 to 24. And they still need to need a high school diploma in order to be able to participate in our program. And there are still some other eligibility requirements as well for it. But our students, they learn hands-on. We take them to a work site. We are partnered with Habitat of Humanity, and we actually take them over there, and the things that they're learning here, they actually going to do there. And just, you see how these walls are in here? These are our students' work. This is some of their stuff. They actually help hammer and paint and put some of the things together in this whole space here as well.
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana, for highlighting that. So yeah, we definitely are excited about this program. It's been active for 3 years now. We had another pathway last year for construction, for culinary. It was funded through a foundation grant that we had, and they got the Riverside County Food Handlers Card we paid for. And they got on-the-job training. And the caterer today, she's actually a lead case manager here. She's actually also taught the culinary program, and she's in the process of being CT certified to further support the needs at the site. So going into our second program is our Opportunity Over Violence Initiative. So this program is unique because we get young people here, or even adults here, that receive just these services alone. A lot of our young people that come into this program are probation referred. The probation officers send them over here. They have to do their courses. They complete the courses and they go to the court to get those checked off the list, right? So this is our violence intervention prevention services. They get intensive case management and employment training. I added employment training this year because we are moving in that pathway down for this this program. In the past, this was case management and street outreach. What we have seen over the last 2 years after evaluating the grant project, street outreach didn't have the bigger impact on the people that are walking into this program. So we decided to add employment training to support these young people, because what happens when they get employment training and now they got aligned with better jobs, speaking to the choir here, right, the likelihood of them to get involved with delinquent behavior is less likely, right? So with that being said, we do have some drug education classes that we offer, anger management, victim awareness, and we have credible messengers. Again, this overview is a very general overview. We can go talk in hours and hours, but I know we are going to go back to our busy days. So the goal is for, if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. You have all of my email. There's a point of contact sheet in the folder. We'll talk about the folder before we leave. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up our charter school partner today.
What allows us to operate in a variety of different communities, so from Fresno to the Inland Empire to LA County to San Diego County. I think I named them all. What allows us to operate as legislation, because we work exclusively with workforce development programs. So that includes youth builds, conservation corps, and WIOA programs. And so we work with a variety of different agencies, but all who have like-minded missions and visions. And it's just very exciting to be able to support this population who otherwise often would not have these opportunities, or who've kind of made their way through a variety of different opportunities that just weren't quite the right fit for them.
Yeah, so as Benny kind of previously mentioned, right, Youth Build is providing services beyond traditional education services, right? So Youth Build is really a youth development program at its core, right? Leadership development, support services, alumni success, construction, and other vocational pathways. And then education is where Youth Build Charter School of California comes in as the education partner. So young people are able to access our charter school once they have enrolled in the Youth Build program successfully and kind of met those requirements. And so, and then as Benny kind of mentioned earlier, all of these core elements are grounded and rooted in love and a very positive, nurturing environment for our young people. A little bit about the charter school. So young people who are enrolled, it is not a GED program, it is a fully WASC accredited high school diploma. Something that our young people really benefit from, I think, is the curriculum. It's all really grounded in being culturally relevant, social justice curriculum. It's very countercultural from the traditional textbook approach that a lot of our young people see in traditional schools. Oftentimes they'll kind of see their cultural background or their identities and experiences reflected in the texts that are read in class and the curriculum, and that tends to kind of engage a variety of young people. We incorporate project-based learning, so there's really no high-stakes testing other than some of our programs might give a diagnostic to see where students are at. But students are graded based on their completion of the project, which they have multiple attempts to complete over a period of time. So if a student's having a bad day or they're tired that day, they're not feeling well, they have multiple opportunities to work on that project. As Benny previously mentioned, we do operate on a trimester-based system, and there are 3 per year. So if a student started in fall and they earned 0 credits that trimester, right, they still have 2 more terms that year in which they could still earn, two semesters worth of credits, right? So some students do feel, if they're already feeling really behind and they're like, there's no way I can graduate on time, that trimester system sometimes gives them that little bit of hope that you will still be able to catch up. And then, as Benny mentioned, programs also offer counseling and support services, mentoring, leadership development, post-secondary planning, and alumni support, which a lot of our students sometimes have not been able to access, at least in the same capacity, on the same level at some of the schools that they've come from. And as Benny previously mentioned, we are a non-competitive charter school, so if a young person is enrolled in school and they're on track to graduate and they're doing well, we're not trying to recruit those young people to come to our programs, right? It's really for those young people where the school staff are like, we don't know what to do at this point, right? We tried this program, we tried these interventions, right? And we're coming to the end of what we're able to offer, but we still want to be able to give this young person some hope, and we still want to help them transfer to somewhere where they can still be successful. And so that's really what our charter school and youth build programs were designed for. A little bit about our project-based model. I was a teacher in youth build for 14 years, and I love everything about the project-based learning, so this is me nerding out for like 5 minutes. What I love about the model and how classes work is that we are really encouraging young people to take ownership of their learning. Our classes are very, very student-centered for the most part. With the project-based learning, students are able to access some of the more higher order thinking concepts like analyzing, evaluating, creating information, rather than just filling in kind of a multiple choice or regurgitating information that was taught to them. Not that that's not necessary sometimes, and not that that's not valuable to kind of recall and remember information, but we really want to kind of challenge them a little bit beyond that and say, like, what can you create? Or if you see a problem in your community, what's a solution that you can create to kind of make some lasting change? And so some examples of awesome projects that I've seen students complete over the years is like writing an autobiography in English class, creating a B Corp for econ, building a water purifier for physical science, and organizing a community peace march as part of their leadership class. And so we really do try to emphasize learning that has a real world application to it and allows young people to engage with their community beyond the classroom as well. And many of our young people who have previously not been interested in what takes place in the classroom, they do tend to kind of come a little bit more alive with some of these projects, just in my experience.
One of the reasons that this is very attractive to a lot of young people who have not been able to achieve success at the level of some of their peers is because they're coming in and we have a set amount of goals that seems a little bit more attainable than what the other high schools in the area often require. I think in particular, especially at the end of a school year, that tends to be when a lot of our programs get referrals from local high schools because the school year's ended. Sometimes they're feeling a little down because their peers are graduating and they could still enroll in a program and then have access to our charter school and be able to earn additional credits by the end of the year. We have even seen young people sometimes, depending on the site, still graduate by June because they really only needed a handful of credits and they're able to fulfill some program requirements. So that does differ a little bit from site to site. We still will honor any credit reductions that have been approved via foster care. We also, and other reductions. We also do reanalyze that. What we found is sometimes some of the reasons why young people have not been able to meet their full potential at other schools is because they're experiencing housing challenges, right? And sometimes they don't realize that they are eligible for that waiver. So we always reanalyze that as well when a young person comes into our space to make sure that we're maximizing the time in the program, that they're able to access some of those things that Benny mentioned, right? If they're interested in certain job training or certain program, or if they're interested in post-secondary education. We really want to support them, not just here and now with this goal, but whatever that next step is following their completion of the program and their high school diploma.
These are some of our young students from 6 different Youth Build sites actually that came together to attend a trip to Sacramento. In May, they advocated for a couple of bills relating to opportunity youth and non-traditional youth, as well as alternative education settings. I believe it was AB 542 that they spent the most time discussing with the elected officials. This was a retreat that the Youth Policy Council did up in Big Pine, where the young people were able to come together with 9 different programs from 9 different communities and spend a couple of days out in nature. 35 students touched snow for the first time, and so this is Benny right here looking all fly. And so there really is this focus on skills. I think a lot of the times, a lot of our students haven't been able to find their footing or haven't been able to find their place where they feel like they belong, and a lot of our young people are able to kind of find that just because they come into Youth Build and they're like, oh, there's a bunch of students that are just like me, right? Even if they're from different communities, there's a lot of experiences that we can relate on. And I do have a voice. I can be someone who advocates for change in my community, and I do belong at a seat at the table with these important, fancy legislators, right? And so that's something that's been really, really beautiful to get to see. And that's something that's beautiful about the Youth Build Network as well. I think a lot of the times there's a lot of resources within their site and their program, but being able to access the larger network as well. And yeah. Another great feature of Youth Build Charter School and many of our Youth Build programs is just that positive and restorative culture. We know that a lot of our young people haven't always had the most positive experiences or are coming to us with trauma and their needs aren't being met, and so establishing kind of that onboarding period, which I think Benny spoke on a little bit earlier, called mental toughness, maybe not, right? Tatiana spoke on that? Okay, cool. Mental toughness, right? So it really is that onboarding period that's building culture, communicating expectations, and giving students a chance to kind of warm up a little bit. I think oftentimes they come in, they get a schedule, they go to class, and they're a little bit overwhelmed. And so this is really that period where they're able to see, like, is this a good fit for me? And for the program to kind of get them used to a setting where it's a smaller space and staff are really seeing you and expecting you to engage, right? And then many sites also will utilize kind of a restorative culture, de-escalation techniques, and restorative practices to try to identify if there is something going on with a young person who's not meeting expectations. Obviously, removing them from the space is never the first option, and kind of working with them to try to identify that underlying cause of behavior and seek solutions just to be able to keep them in the program as much as possible. And then, as I mentioned already, just youth voice is a very important part of the Youth Build model, and many students appreciate kind of like the staff to student ratio and just being able to engage with staff in kind of a smaller group setting than many of their previous schools. Like how many mentors and case managers y'all got here?
We have an MSW intern, and we have several mentors.
Yeah.
Probably anywhere around 12 to 16 mentors at the moment.
And so historically, Youth Build programs were rooted in construction, right, which is vocational programming. When it was first started, it was started because young people identified a need in the community with abandoned buildings, and they wanted to do something to create change. Over time, that need for construction has still been there, but there's also been needs for other career paths and other opportunities. And so different sites throughout our partnerships have different programs happening. Our goal is to support them and moving them towards CTE coursework, but that's moving at a faster rate than it does in a traditional school setting. Often it spans over 3 years or 4 years. With our program, we're able to either have courses that coincide, we're able to have them completed at a faster rate because of the trimester system. And so there's programs that exist within the space. So as Benny mentioned, construction, for example, culinary, which we're hoping to bring back. We're actually trying to seek funding for that to support sites, right? And they also seek their own funding. But in addition to that, there's not enough room to do everything every student wants in this space, right? So at our local program in San Bernardino, we are currently going to have an advanced manufacturing program. And so that'll be a hub where other programs within the Inland Empire, and if we can logistically figure out even the other areas, can access that opportunity. So if there is student interest and that's going to be a pre-apprenticeship opportunity. And so we're trying to figure out the best way to maximize young people's time with us while they're in the space, again focusing not just on their current goals but their future goals as well, and making sure that we're providing them opportunities that are going to allow them to have positions in which they can pay a mortgage, right? Where they're not having to live paycheck to paycheck. So that's very important to us as a school, as well as the programs that we partner with, right? It's a justice issue that our young people don't have access to those things. And so we want to make sure that we're doing everything possible. In addition to that, we are now trying to focus more attention on dual credit opportunities, both credit bearing and non-credit bearing. 2 of our campuses are located on college campuses, which is great, right? The access is a lot easier to navigate, but we want those opportunities to happen throughout our school. And so we'll be working with this program as well as some of our other programs to bring those opportunities both into the space as well as exposing students to those opportunities outside of the space. As a school, we have dedicated funding for field trips that directly tie to vocational and post-secondary opportunities, which is a separate pot than other funds that we use for other enrichment activities. And so it is very important to us. It's in our LCAP. We're committed to that. And so we just really want to make sure that they have access and exposure so that they know what their options are and that we can support them in reaching those goals.
So come back to the 37%. Again, speaking to the choir, 16 to 24, a lot of that young people that out of the 37% are adults. They come in, they're parents, they're working full-time jobs, and we know in today's time that there's a lot of employers that are, friendly to not having high school dropout friendly, should I say, right? To make it very clear and transparent, they don't care. They don't care if it has a high school diploma, come on in. Bunch of warehouses in our area, right? Young people come in, they're 18 years old, drop out of school, I'll make my money, I gotta make some money, I gotta make my bread. That's how they speak, right? And they say, I gotta go pay my bills. I'll just go do what I gotta do and then just get back into work, right? So this 37% really captures a lot of those young people that say, you know what, I wanna get my high school diploma, but I just don't have the time for it. I already got a job, I can start my own business, I don't need it, and that's okay, we understand. So that 37% captures some of those unsuccessful exits that for our first time enrollments. So this slide I will share. During the last 5 years, 106 of those young people were from Rainier Valley School District, 16 from your guys' school district, 8 from Paris Union, 24 from other local charters such as Innovation or Audeo or Pacific View Charter, SciTech, right? And 51 of the enrollments were out of district or out of state. So it could be some of Riverside County. We get a lot from the LA that migrate over to the Riverside County area. As you may have experienced the same population. They're trying to get out of the hood or trying to find something more affordable to come here, right? So some of that 51 represents those people as well. I'm gonna skip MVUSD. I'm gonna get right to your slide. So historical high schools from the 16 enrollments, we have 63% of them from Rancho Verde, and that's because Rancho Verde is in Moreno Valley, so it's a little bit more accessible to them. We also have 25% from Orange Vista, 6% from Citrus Hill, 6% from Val Verde. So there's not many, right? But I did want to capture this. I think I sat here before I started the counselor luncheon idea. I was like, if I was a counselor, I want to know where are my young people going? Like, what are they doing? Like, is it working out for them? Is it not working out for them? Because you start getting into this field because you really have a passion for the young people that you serve. I feel it, I know it because I live that same passion, not in the same role, but I understand, right? So I want to make sure that my young people are going to a place that I can trust, right? So I want to make sure I capture this for you so you can see these 16 young people that walk into the doors and where they're from. If you like, I can go further into the detail that you know sort of how. I won't share the names, but I'll share what happened with them. I don't mind sharing that with you so you can sort of see the impact, right? Current enrollment as of now, well, we have 40 young people enrolled from the ages 6 to 24. 47% are from Rainier Valley School District, where are you guys, Orange. 12% are from your district, and so on and so forth. Other, 23, Blue, Hammond Unified, and 10 Paris. We're sort of seeing a shift in enrollments and where they're coming from. We're sort of seeing more outside. It may not look like this here, but we've seen like, oh, now we're getting some Talkwoods in West Valley, and it sort of seemed to be calming. Now we're getting some Paris High School. So it's like, okay, let's sort of figure out what do we need to engage with the high schools and say, hey, we're here. Your young people are coming. You may not know who we are. So this is why we want to share this information with you all. We have 2 more slides, and we're going to get into a closing remarks. So some other outcomes I want to share with you. So 73% of our young people have maintained retention in their placement. So placement in education or post-secondary education, trade school, or some type of employment. 73% has said, hey, I'm still at my job, I'm still at the school. This is for a year follow-up. So this isn't capture after a year. This only captures up to a year. 94% have reported completion of program requirements and high school diploma out of the 299. Out of the 30% that was shared as successful, and the attendance is 77%. That's huge for the young people that we get walking into these doors. Young people that walk into the doors, you could be like, you saw a name, but you never saw a face. Like, you weren't here at all this year. Where have you been, right? So 77% coming from 0 to roughly 20-30% is huge, and we pride ourselves with that attendance rate over the last 5 years. Our last outcome I want to share with you today is our 76% of our young people do leave with a certification, industry recognized or foundational certifications, and those include the following: OSHA, CompTIA, CPR First Aid, Customer Service Excellence Training, Driver's License, Ever Financial, Food Handlers, NCCR, and Security Guard Card, all paid through grant funding or through partnerships. So we are constantly looking for funding because Rising Star Business Academy, we're not a school. We don't get the school funding. The school provides the academic instruction. They support with hiring the teacher for us, the MSW intern. They give some enrichment services for us to provide some activities. But the charter school has their charter school budget, and we have to have our own budget to provide additional enrichment services. So we have to work collaboratively. We seek funding. Sometimes we partner on grants, but we have to get that so we can pay for everything we need to meet the needs of our young people. I could talk days about Rising Stars and our impact and what I do. So I love what we talk about here, and I love Youth Build in general. But I'm going to try to give some time. So today we hosted a counselor luncheon. We had 9 counselors represented today, all from Valverde Unified School District. We were great to have them come out. We shared about our program, our partnership with Youth Build Charter School California with Dr. Sonia and Dr. Celine. Shared the great resource because we know that this resource is needed in our community. We thank Valverde for being here, for being represented, for taking a deep care and passion of your young people and really know where you're going to send them to. I think today was a great day. We had a great, delicious food done by none other than Miss Ree. So thank you everybody for coming, and we hope that this was a great outcome. You got me started.
Thank you.
Are you guys? I'm gonna call your boss and tell her you guys are heading back.
Yeah.
If I do it wrong, you gonna give me back.
Robert.
He's a smart man. See, I see that. That's funny.
Drive slow. Drive slow.
We are.
We are.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was good.